Margaret Collins had lived in the same small house in Ohio for 42 years. The paint on the porch railing was peeling, and the wind chimes she once loved had gone silent, rusted by winters she could no longer remember clearly. Every corner of the house held a version of herself she used to be, young, hopeful, tired, determined. The woman she was now moved more slowly, counted pennies, and spoke softly, as if apologizing for still being alive. She was 72 and lived on her pension and Social Security. It wasn't much, but she had learned how to stretch it. Cheap soup, old sweaters, lights turned off even during the day. She told herself she was lucky. She had a roof. She had memories, and she had her son. Daniel was 43 and had come back home 3 years ago just for a little while. He'd lost a job, then another. His wife left. He said the world had turned against him, and Margaret believed him because she was his mother and because believing him hurt less than believing the truth, that her son was angry at everything and she was the closest thing to blame. At first, Daniel was quiet. He slept late and stayed out late. Then the questions started. How much do you get a month? Why do you need cable? You don't even go anywhere. Margaret answered carefully, like someone stepping through glass. She told herself it was normal, that he was stressed. She remembered the boy who used to bring her dandelions and call them flowers. She remembered the teenager who slammed doors but still hugged her when he thought no one was watching. The first time he yelled at her, it was over a grocery receipt. He said she was stupid for buying name-brand cereal. His voice was sharp, unfamiliar. She felt small, like she had shrunk overnight. The slap came weeks later. It was fast and shocking, like a sound before pain. Her glasses flew off and hit the floor. For a moment, neither of them moved. Daniel stared at his hand like it belonged to someone else. Margaret pressed her fingers to her cheek, stunned more by the betrayal than the sting. "I'm sorry," he said, not meeting her eyes. "You just don't listen." She nodded. She always nodded. After that, everything changed. Daniel took her debit card to help manage things. He said she was forgetful. He said it was safer this way. She told herself she was grateful. She told herself this was what family did. Her pension disappeared quietly month by month. Bills went unpaid while Daniel bought things she didn't recognize, new shoes, electronics, nights out. When she asked, he snapped. When she cried, he mocked her. When she threatened to tell someone, he reminded her she had no one else. "You want to end up in a home?" he said once, leaning too close, "because that's where they put women like you." Margaret stopped arguing. She sat at the kitchen table every morning with a cup of weak coffee, staring at the window. She thought about calling her sister, but pride held her tongue. She thought about the police, but fear closed her throat. She thought about how she had carried Daniel for 9 months, how she had rocked him through fevers, how she had skipped meals so he could eat more. At night, she lay awake listening to his footsteps, wondering how love could rot into something so cruel. One afternoon, while cleaning the hallway closet, she found an old photo album. There she was, young, smiling, holding a baby with bright eyes and a crooked grin. She touched the picture and felt something crack open inside her. Not anger, not hatred, just a deep, aching grief for the life she had given and the life that had been taken from her. She did not leave that day, or the next, but something shifted. Margaret began to understand that sadness could harden into quiet strength, that surviving did not mean forgiving, that being a mother did not mean being owned. And even though her hands trembled, and even though her heart still broke every time she looked at her son, she began, slowly, to imagine a future where she was not afraid in her own home. It was a small hope, fragile, but it was hers. And after everything that had been taken from her, that mattered.